from Liquid Lingerie from Shine Glow Getter. So I thought I'd try it out tonight. And you guys let me know what you think about it. You know, I'm always trying something new. Gotta get a picture of it. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so 3 cheers of joy. 3 cheers of joy tonight is brought to you by a new wine. It's called Juicy Hill Juicy Cabernet, extremely ripe and juicy fruit. So we're going to try it. I'm not really sure what to expect, but I'm going to give it a try. I mean, it's wine, so I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? All right, 3 cheers of joy. My first cheer of joy, and if you don't know, 3 cheers of joy, 3 moments of self-celebration that had nothing to do with anybody else but you, that brought you some pleasure. It's your thing, your pleasure, and just how do you want to celebrate it? So I'll go first. Let me start with yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, Tuesday morning, it was so cold outside, right? And I was so snugly in bed with Princess Ari. She has figured out she likes to sleep with me. So we were so snugly in bed that we didn't wake up to almost 7 o'clock. Yikes, right? So, and I have to be at work at 8. So I knew then it was going to be a problem, but I just was like, how many mornings will I have to oversleep with my grandbaby before she's old enough that she doesn't want to sleep with me? So cheers to oversleeping with the grandbaby, all snugly and warm when it was like 40 degrees in Central Florida. And you know that's cold if it's 40 degrees here. It was cold yesterday morning, this morning, and tomorrow morning. So cheers to being snugly on a Tuesday morning and waking up way too late. I guess, and mainly not stressing about it. Like, I think the older you get, you realize there's no point in stressing about it, right? So there was really no point in me stressing about it. It's not, I can't make up the time. I just have to take my hit at work and be late. So that's what happened yesterday, just late. All right, so that's my first cheer of joy. My second cheer of joy is, what is that? Oh, my second cheer of joy, I head up this program at work, and I didn't start working on the program until October. It started in August. Well, people really started on it in July, and I didn't get assigned. It didn't get assigned to me until oh, hold on a second. Hang on a second. It says I'm not streaming on my personal page, so let me switch. Let me do that right now. I don't know why that is. Hang on a second. It says I'm not streaming on my personal page, so let me switch. Let me do that. Okay, let's see if I can. Hang on a second. It says I'm not streaming on my personal page. Thank you. Thank you, baby, for telling me that. My faceless love told me that I'm not streaming. Streaming on my personal page. He's my IT person. He makes sure that all my stuff's working. So I'm not sure why it's not streaming on my personal page, but I just shared it there. So hopefully it pops up. There it is. Okay. So hopefully it'll grab it there. Okay. So I forgot what I was going to be thankful for my second cheer of joy. So I said for being snugly and sleeping in late with my baby. Oh, all right. So I was assigned a committee at work, right? And to help with insurance, like it's our benefits and stuff. And I was given the position because I'm hella organized with stuff, but I didn't start until October. Well, I had to have a meeting with the person who runs it. And I knew that since I missed a couple months that I wouldn't receive part of the stipend because I wasn't working then. Well, how about I have my meeting with the person who heads it up. And she started asking me like when I started, and I told her October, and she was asking me about certain things that happened previous to my starting. And I was like, oh yeah, I wasn't here yet. And I was like, oh, but I did this. And I kind of start telling her things that I did. And she gave me credit for it. She let me fill out the paperwork for it and submit my pictures and evaluations and stuff so that I would get the full stipend. And I was like, that's cool as hell, because I could have, I mean, very easily, and I didn't expect to get the full stipend. But she hooked it up so that I could. So I really appreciate that. So cheers to people understanding that, shit happens and we're in a pandemic. So cheers, that's my second cheer of joy. It's for people just understanding and being accommodating and knowing, giving grace, right? We talked about that last week. So cheers to giving grace. My third cheer of joy, my blood pressure is down. That's my third cheer of joy. I had to start paying attention to my blood pressure because the last time I went to the doctor, it was elevated. And I had to either get my shit together or get on some medication. And you guys know I don't want to be on any medication. So third cheer of joy to my blood pressure is down. So cheers to that. So my first cheer of joy was being snuggly with Ariel, my grandbaby. It was all snuggled up and warm yesterday morning, so much so that we were late to work. And I was so late that I just couldn't even panic about it. Like, it was like, we get to class before the students get there and you'll be fine. And that's what I did. My second cheer of joy was just, I was given grace by someone. I always talk about giving grace, but someone extended that to me and make sure that I satisfy what I needed to satisfy to get a stipend for this role that I have at work. So I was very grateful, celebrate that. Cheers. Anything that's going to bring extra money in, cheers to that. And my third cheer of joy, gosh, I just said it so funny. What was it? I mean, so quickly. I forgot what it was that fast. Yeah, that's what happens when I say it so fast. I guess it'll come back to me. Like, seriously, I just forgot that fast. So anyway, those are my three cheers of joy, brought to you by Juicy Hill Juicy Cabernet. It almost tastes a little sweet, like just a sweet Cabernet. I don't know. I can't associate it with anything. Oh, my third cheer of joy was my blood pressure down. I told you I forget. I try to do them off the cuff so I can be genuine in celebrating them and appreciating them. But the blood pressure was definitely number 3 because it is down for about 8 to 10 points. So I'm very grateful for that. And anyway, so this is Eno Vino International Juicy Hill Cabernet, and I'm trying it tonight. And it's okay, kind of playful for me. It's kind of sweet for a cab, but it was on sale, so I grabbed it. So cheers. I'm drinking out of my Steffi tonight. It's got my little logo on it. You guys know how much I love this. I've been drinking out of this almost every day because I think it's so adorable and so appropriate for me, like joy exposed, and people see it and they want it. All right, so those are my 3 cheers of joy. I hope you're celebrating something yummy tonight. I hope that you have spent some time thinking about things that you are celebrating and that you're happy happened to you. You're happy that they happened to you this week, and that you've taken time to acknowledge and give thanks to the universe for allowing you to find goodness in these kind of quiet, mundane spaces. So 3 cheers of joy. It's one of my favorite segments of Joy Exposed because it starts me off at a humble place, right? I get all excited. I got to do my podcast. But then this just makes me scale it back and give thanks to things that I don't have any control over and don't have anything to do with anybody else. So literally just being grateful for things that have happened to me out of the generosity of the universe. So cheers to everyone. Cheers to you, and thank you so much for joining. All right, we'll move on to stmspecialties.com, sponsoring Facebook post of the week. So I didn't really spend a lot of time on Facebook. I mean, I was on there kind of scrolling through and searching for stuff, but scrolling through and watching for stuff, but I didn't really spend a lot of time on it. I've started a new venture, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes. But for my Facebook post of the week, let's start off with this. How about today? And you guys know how much I love men. I talk about that all the time. I don't think that ever changes in your life. Men are men. I am a woman, and men are men. And I find them absolutely fascinating. But there's a video leaked today, supposedly, of Trey Songz. I saw it, and it was a pretty decent video. It's a pretty decent video of Trey Songz and somebody else giving him some oral pleasure, and yeah, it was nice, right? So I shared it a couple times, but then I watched it like twice, and then I was thinking like, I probably have a video that's better than that. But like, you can't really post your own personal videos. But yeah, so Trey Songz really had Twitter on fire today. Whoever posted that video, it wasn't he had to have been holding the camera or somebody else, because it wasn't the person whose face was in the camera. But yeah, so he had Twitter on fire today. I didn't find out about it until later this evening, and then I went searching for it, because you got to be resourceful if not anything else. And I found the video, and we are all adults and we all agree there's nothing quite as amazing as providing or receiving oral pleasure. So what the hell? It was a video and it was fun to watch. Why not? So if you get a chance, look at the Trey Songz video on Twitter. I'm not gonna. Faceless Love just sent me a message on Facebook and said I was going to jail because I shared the video. So I hope not, right? Fortunately, for all the crap I do on Facebook, pictures, comments, posts, all of that, I have not gone to Facebook jail, knock on wood. Right. But he says I'm going to jail because I share the link to the video. So anyway, but it ain't my video. It's Trey Songz and somebody else. So it ain't me in the video. Fortunately, it's somebody else. But it is a nice video. So what the hell? So that's my Facebook. My first Facebook post of the week is a nice, yummy video of deliciousness featuring other people, not me. All right, my second Facebook post of the week. Let's see what's in the chat tonight so far. If anybody's chatted. Right. Yes, Danae. You say what? Yes, it's a video in there of Trey Songz. So my next Facebook post of the week is, let me go find it real quick. I know there's got to be a smooth transition for all the stuff I try to do. And maybe that's why you have like a production team. But I don't have a production team. I have me, though. And I thank you guys for bearing with me as I scroll through pictures and comments and stuff. All right. So this is a little political one that, I'll talk about a little bit. Right. Okay, let me hold off on this Facebook post of the week. I got to address the Trey Songz. I felt like Maya Marley. I felt like the girl could have been doing some more. Maybe she was young. Maybe she didn't have a lot of experience. But I, too, felt like she could have been doing a lot more, right? She was kind of, she was doing she was doing like porn stuff. Like she had watched the porn and she had studied from porn instead of pleasure. And that's a good conversation to have. Like, how do you learn how to do the things that you do of a sexual nature? And people who study porn, I sent you the link already, Danae. People who study porn and think that that's what actual sex is are mistaken. I believe, because I believe that sex is guided by pleasure. So you do the things that please you while you're doing them, and that's going to bring you pleasure and your partner pleasure. So I think Amaya Marley, that she was doing kind of porn stuff, like what she, to me, it looks like porn stuff. It doesn't look like I'm so caught up in this moment. Exactly. I'm passionate about it. I'm so caught up in this moment. I'm gaining pleasure. It didn't look like that to me either. So I totally agree with you on that. And that's definitely a conversation to have, especially now when porn is so readily available. Because back in the day growing up, there wasn't any porn, right? I mean, it was porn, but it was magazines or videos. Somebody copied off of something and passed it on, and you had to sneak and watch it. So if you were interested in having sex, and not somebody was interested in having sex with you, if you were interested in it and you knew that pleasure was associated with it, you did it organically, searching for pleasure. But if somebody was making use of you and you weren't really interested, then you probably didn't get a lot of pleasure. So I mean, there's so many different caveats to sexual pleasure, and that's definitely a big thing of mine. And I haven't even really talked about it on the show much lately. I talked about it a lot at the beginning. I may have to revisit that one episode, or many episodes, but yeah, it's definitely a difference from people who have sex just to have sex and people who have sex and they enjoy having sex. Like, that's a big difference. And I think even on Facebook and reading people's comments and reading the post and listening to comments and engaging, you almost can tell the women who enjoy sex for pleasure or who do sex for obligation. It's a tough one because, people have their different ideas about it. But I feel like I know that I'm not going to have sex if my plan isn't to enjoy it. Like, I don't know, especially being in a loving relationship now, my sexual pleasure is important to me. So there's never a time in my mind that I'm thinking that I'm not going to, because there's never that time. It's almost like I know it's going to be pleasurable and I'm open to it. And that could just be my spirit. But I know a lot of beautiful women who are sexual, who enjoy, but then I also know beautiful women who have sex just because, so I know kind of across the board. But so the comment came up just because one of the viewers of the video was saying that the person in the video with supposedly Trey Songz wasn't really doing a good job with the blowjob. They were just kind of, to me, I said they were doing porn work. They were like for the camera instead of for the pleasure. Like, there's a art to the pleasure. I'm just saying. Anywho, let me move on to my 3 cheers of joy. I mean, for my second, not 3 cheers of joy. Shit, I'm all thrown up. I get caught up talking about sex. My mind is, all the blood drains out of my head. I'm like, already. Okay, so STM Specialties, we were on Facebook Post of the Week. So this is a political one. It says, it's official. Proud Boys are designated a terrorist organization. And this is from Danae Giddy. Young people, working people, Black, brown, and Indigenous people. This is our victory. So today, Canada put the Proud Boys on the terrorist watch list, like ISIS, Al-Qaeda. So the Proud Boys, after the insurrection blow up shit, are officially on a terrorist watch list in Canada. So Canada is always the country that's kind of like steadfast in making decisions. They're not bullshitting with the United States. And we kind of play our democratic society. We play it kind of fast and loose. We operate in an empathy space. But Canada's like, hey, Canada makes decisions quick. And they it's so much less crime, less teen pregnancy, less health issues. So there's really something to be said about it. But is Canada necessarily a democratic society such as the United States, right? So, I like that now the Proud Boys are listed as a terrorist group. in Canada, because that's going to make other countries stand alert with what's going on. Now, we all know the Proud Boys cowardice. They're not leaving the United States with any bullshit. They don't have any big issues with Canada or with anywhere in the Middle East. They're not going anywhere to really do some shit. They're going to do their fucked up shit here because they know that they're going to be protected still with 3 meals a day in a cushy prison should they get caught. And somebody's going to argue for their freedom. They're cowards, right? So their big come up was, we're going to storm the Capitol and take people hostage. That's the big come up. That's what the Proud Boys is going to do. That's the extent of their power, except that now other countries are watching. And that means you're going to be on watch lists for flying, you're traveling, all of that. So that's a big deal. And the United States will take notice. They have to take notice. Like, shit, we got the Proud Boys kicking up all this dust. And now we got other countries that are like, none of it here. So that's a good thing to me about them being on the watch list. So they're here. Now, this is my last STM specialty Facebook post of the week. And I really had this for one of my Facebook friends. Her name is Ricky. It says, just seen a church van at the Motel 6. Check on your deacon. And the reason I love this post, it was so funny, is because whenever we're talking so much trash and being fresh and flirty, Ricky always says she's going to get the church van and come get us and take us to church. So I saw this post today and thought, hilarious. This is so Ricky. So that was kind of funny. You know, I just saved that. And I thought, what a great Facebook post of the week. So you see your church van passed at the posted up at the Motel 6 and you wonder where the deacon at. I know. Oh my God, I know. I didn't make that. It's just, it came up on my timeline and I had to, I had to address it, because where is the deacon? Who's driving the church van? I know that. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, so those are my 3 Facebook posts of the week, and brought to you by STM Specialties. And she has all your tumbler needs. She made this Steffi for me. She's made me some wine glasses. She makes all kinds of things. She has her website, stmspecialties.com. Go on there, tell her what she wants. She can make it for you. She's hella creative, and as all small business owners, she's growing. She's becoming bolder by the production, right? So go on, check her out, her website. I think there's a discount code for Joy Exposed. So on the discount, enter Joy Exposed. I can't tell you what the discount will be. I forgot. But it's a discount. So if you go and look and you start ordering where it asks you for the discount code, just put Joy Exposed and there should be a discount in there. So those are my STM Specialties Facebook posts of the week. All right, so last week, well, that's not true. 2 weeks ago, mySHAPE Solutions, that is my company, mySHAPE Solutions, self-health and personal empowerment, started a new platform, I guess. It's called mySHAPE Spotlight. So my self-health and personal empowerment spotlight. And I decided I would take small business owners and authors, which I've now figured out I'm going to have to do them separate, because I know way more small business owners than I do authors. And my plan was to take them, have a conversation, an interview on a Saturday afternoon, and just sit up and talk. You know, tell me about your dreams, your desires, your plans for the future. You know, so just to give the small business owner and author an opportunity to talk freely about what they see. And if you listen to Joy Exposed regularly enough, you know that I talk about that. How do you get people to take their ideas from here and put them here? And that's literally what the conversation is, because I realize that people need to talk through their shit. Like, because I need to talk through my shit too. Like, and I do that regularly. And this Joy Exposed gives me an amazing platform to do that. So about 2 weeks ago, I interviewed Sharon Johnson. She's an author from mySHAPE Solutions, the publishing division, and we talked about her book. I am the child of a king and daughter of a queen. That is the name of her book, and we talked about it and her time in drug use and prison, and how did she get to freedom, and we had technical difficulties with problems with the sound, so our interview lasted about 20 minutes, but it was a good 20 minutes. But I listened back to it and I kept saying, can you hear me, can you hear me? So I'm definitely going to have to work out that sound piece, doing it remotely, and people with their technology, is it compatible, and is the signal good, so I've got to work through that sound piece. However, it was a good interview. And she is an author on mySHAPE Solutions Publishing Division. So that's one of my authors. So, and it was really good chatting with her. And I'll interview her again probably in the next couple months or so. And then last Saturday, I had an opportunity to interview Danae Adams. And she is an entrepreneur, and she's a brand strategist and just all things yummy. And if you didn't get a chance to see that interview, it's streaming on Facebook. It's still on, it's on YouTube as well. It's still out there streaming, and it will be. And we had such a good time. The funny thing, hold on before I say that. The funny thing is, that's the company that drips my lips, that provides me with the lip lingerie, right? So that's Danae's company, Shine Glow Getter. So she's a sponsor for my lips, right? So tonight I'm wearing, I don't have the name of it, but it's kind of a orange, kind of a reddish orange, and I like it, right? It's a matte, and I like it. It feels good. I put it on, and it dried well, and you can see it. It looks really good. So that's what I'm wearing tonight. Anyway, Danae and I talked, and we were supposed to talk for 30 minutes, and we ended up talking for like an hour and 30 minutes. All on live, like just a great conversation of women who respect and honor each other, right? It was just a great conversation, and she shared a lot, and I love that she shared so much, and that made me feel good that she was comfortable in a space that I provided to share, so that felt really good. And as I went back and listened to our interview, and I've listened to it like 3 times, as I went back and listened to our interview, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. And then I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that back. And then I realized that it's just a dynamic conversation. It was free-flowing, dynamic conversation. And you know what? We're going to make plans. We came up with a couple ideas. We kind of threw out there, hey, why don't we do this? And what do you think about this? And because I've wanted to work with her for a long time. I'll tell you why I want to work with her. I want to work with her because she's not afraid. And you guys who listen to me know that me being fearless is the top of my list of things to do. And she's not afraid. She jumps out there, and I want to get there, that I jump out there. And I'm getting close. Every day I'm getting closer. So that was really good chatting with her. And she talked about her childhood, and she talked about quieting the noise around her and her journey and getting from disaster to dessert. Let's call it that. Let's get from disaster to dessert, chaos to calm, like she talked about. Existing in a space that she thought was normal and comfortable to realizing she's suffocating in it. And that's very similar to my story, because that's very similar to my story, because I was in a yucky space, and we have to get out. And I was telling her that women need to see other women who've come out of the fire, who are successful, and not even successful that they're making stupid money, but just successful that they're smiling with intention. They're smiling with intention, and they're moving because they know it's good, right? They know that It doesn't matter what happened, I'm okay. And that was our conversation pretty much for an hour and a half. And we could have talked for 3 more hours. We literally could have kept talking. And we'll have to do that again. We'll have to get back on with her. So since I interviewed Danae last Saturday, I now have like 9 interviews lined up. So I'm now all the way through the end of April with other women wanting to be in the spotlight, to be in my self help and in personal empowerment spotlight. And that is exciting because that's women saying, I have a small business. I have an idea. I have something I want to do and I want to share it with you. Do you know how honored I am at that? I'm honored. Like, holy crap, Ola. I am honored to know that so many women or so many people, I won't even just say women, because I haven't provided a platform to men yet, but so many people are okay with being in the spotlight, in my spotlight. So I wanted to share that right now because that is huge for me. Um, and that's where we are. So on Saturday, the 6th, yeah, Saturday, February 6th, I am interviewing Tiffany Mitchell. She's an author. And I believe I'm going to start switching author, not switching, I'm not switching. I'm going to start doing author interviews on Thursday evening. So probably about 7 on Thursday evening in between after the Super Bowl and football season. So I'll do the author spotlight because there will be tons of authors that I've met online that would like to come on and have a conversation, but I have small business owners too. So it's kind of like, well, let me provide a platform for them as well. And since I have this streaming channel, I can provide this service for all of us, right? So it'll be about 3 hours a week at max. And that should be fine. So I can do 3 hours a week and then I can just kind of plan it and go from there and post it on YouTube. And that means everybody has an opportunity to share and they have some marketing and they have all these little pieces. So yeah, so it'll be fun. And then Clarissa, who's on here tonight too, she is going to be on the spotlight. She is the Sweet Spot, the radio show on Friday nights at 8:30. So she's going to spend a Saturday afternoon with me as well. And her comment is, "You're trustworthy. I trust you with me, and I understand why others do as well." You hear that? She trusts me with her, y'all. That's what I'm talking about right there. Y'all think I be bullshitting. I'm serious. I really am a decent person. I'm a decent human. That's big. Thank you so much, Clarissa. I appreciate you. And Stephanie is on February 20th. So everybody's looking forward to their day, and I cannot wait, right? So this is a big deal to be able to sit down and have these open and honest, candid conversations because we see them, other people do them, the celebrities, but we are the ones that are growing, right? We're growing and we have to find our own voice and our level of comfort. So that I had to kind of put that out there about mySHAPE Spotlight. And what else did I want to mention? Oh, so today I'm going to change gears a little bit. So today I was going through so I look at one of the things that I do as a small business owner myself is to look at major companies who kind of do similar things that I do and figure out how they do them and what they do. And so what I figured out, thank you, Danae, so much. She's so excited for this chapter for me. Thank you very much. I'm excited too. I am just chilling, trying to figure it all out. So, one of the things that I do is I look at companies who do like some streaming and the big companies, the big boys, because you want to align yourself. You don't want to have exactly what they have, but you want to align yourself with things that they do. Well, I was looking at Jimmy Kimmel and just randomly he made a comment about their older shows. They delete them or they take them from streaming off of YouTube. So what they do is they take clips from them and they'll do the clips, but the whole show they remove, which makes perfect sense. But because I don't know that, because I feel like you put everything out there, it made me realize that when I first started doing a podcast and I was doing it with a radio station, my audio was shoddy. So it wasn't very good audio, but I posted it because I needed the I needed to be visual at that time. I needed driving stuff to my YouTube and that type of thing. But now, since I heard that conversation, I think I can go back to my older stuff because now I'm almost 2 years old. I can go back to the older stuff and just pull out clips, post the clips, run the clips, and take the whole video off. So it helps you to kind of streamline the information that's available to you, right? It streamlines it, and it puts the meat out. So first it's like meat and potatoes and salad and all of that. But then as you keep going, you realize I want the meat out, right? I just want to, I don't know why the video of the Trey Songz video just went to my brain right now, but oh God, please, my attention deficit can't take it. Anyway, so you just want the meat, the bulk goodness of the information. And so that's what I started working on today, going way back, looking at the old videos and trying to see what I want to save from them. And it doesn't mean I delete them, you just take them from being published. So you still have them, access to them, and they kind of sit there in the background on your YouTube. So they're just not, people can't find them. And you just kind of take what you want from them, publish what you want, the little snippets, and then keep it in there. So that's what I started working on today. In the process of doing that, I came across an interview with Walil Archer. Walil is a radio host. He's out of Atlanta. He works between, I think, Atlanta and Chicago, or maybe Philadelphia. Anyway, he works between Atlanta and either one of those. And I did an interview with him in 2018. And I started listening to the interview because honestly, I can't say that I ever went back and listened to the interview. What we were supposed to interview, we had a problem. He wanted to interview me over the phone because we had a problem with the timing before. He wanted to interview me over the phone. What I did was set up my camera and lighting and stuff, and I recorded me talking to him on the phone. So the interview, you can hear him, but you see me. And I went and listened to it today, and I love the fucking interview. I loved it. Couple of reasons. One is because it was raw. I was a new author. I was answering questions for the first time. So you got an authentic response. And I thought about, if I were answering those same questions today, they would be different. Because now I'm kind of seasoned, right? I'm kind of seasoned. I got a couple years under my belt. I've talked about being a writer, why it's important, how I did it, why. So the responses almost become rote. But when I interviewed with him, it was new. It was pretty new. And one of the questions was like, what was the most challenging part of writing a book? And that's floating around now. I posted that today, and that's floating around now. And I talked about how being ready to accept the idea of being transparent, being ready to trust the words that you are writing and trust that you're going to be safe in your own words. And that's crazy because what I was writing organically and then reading it, it was like, oh, I should change this word to this, or I was going around trying to fix it for the public so that people wouldn't be offended or, oh my gosh, clutching pearls. And then it dawned on me, like, how can I go change this if I've given thanks to God for it, right? And it just the genuine honesty of the answers to that. And I just was like, this is a great interview, fabulous interview. If you get an opportunity to listen to it. It's on YouTube. I'll probably, and the link is floating out there too. I put the link out there. If you get it, and it's about 30 minutes. The interview is 30, I think it's 38 minutes. I read from Two Virtues. I answered questions. We talked about just relationships and people. And then one of the last things that we talked about is just say, I was telling him that, and this is what I was going to talk about tonight, is talking about how do you know that the resources for someone that you're dealing with have been depleted? Like, how do you know the love is gone? Like, how do you know it's time to move on instead of staying in a yucky ass relationship and trying to force it out of obligation, or it's convenient, or how do you know it's time to go? And that was one of the last questions I answered. And I listened to myself talking about it and I thought, holy crap, this shit is real. Like, I was in a real space talking about it because at the time, Faceless Love and I were really just kind of playing around dating. We weren't serious. Like, we didn't have plans to be married or plans to be together. We were just kind of enjoying each other, right? And when I was responding to those questions, those were the responses of a single woman responding to those questions. And the ideas of a single woman who has experienced love and lost love and got the bruises and recovered. And her answers are different than the woman who exists solely in this loving space. And that's who I was in that. I was the single woman. I was the single woman who was confident and comfortable in the fact that I'm okay by myself. And this is what I figured out by myself. It's just a great interview, just raw and real. Great interview. And if you, like I said, if you have a chance to listen to it or watch it, do that because it really is just like, damn, this is the kind of stuff that sets you free. Like, this is really, and I wasn't in a bad space. Like, I wasn't in a bad mental space. And I never talked negative about, like, men ain't shit, blankety blank. I'll never have that. I mean, I might say, F that blankety blank. No, but I mean, don't we all? But I'm not mean and malicious about it. So to me, it was me talking. And to me, it was almost, I was listening to somebody new. And it was just a great interview. I was pleased. And I tagged him in the pieces that I put out there. I put 2 pieces out there answering the challenging question. And I tagged him in both. And he was like, oh, this was awesome. This was a great interview. And that was really good because you like for people to remember you. You like for people to remember that you guys spent time together. And we didn't have another interview after that. But for the interview that we had, it was really a great interview. I liked it a lot. Let's see. So it was it was a great interview, and I hope you guys get to watch it. Okay, so that's that. Yeah, so that's that. I this is really today. I felt kind of weird thinking about what I was going to do on Joy Exposed tonight because I didn't really know because I didn't have a plan, right? I just feel like the pandemic has just got me all yuck. Like, I'm able to see with such clarity so many things and people and situations and I just don't know. I just it has me now questioning people that I felt good about. Now it has me I'm dealing with them more. It has me questioning their intentions now, so it's just this pandemic, and I remember we're in the Mercury retrograde. We just had that crazy full moon the other day. So it's a lot of different kind of cosmic kind of things happening around us. And I'm just gonna ride through it. Like I'm just trying not to stress about it too much. But yeah, I'm not gonna stress about it too much. I'm just gonna ride it out because it's got me feeling really weird. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? I really attract some amazing people. So I feel like if I'm having some woo feelings, some other people are having them too. So I'm gonna just kind of ride that. But it's this pandemic has me wigged. I'm ready for my vaccine. I want to take it. So I read this article, speaking of the vaccine, I read this article saying that President Biden has given Kamala uh, reins on convincing Black America to get the vaccine. Because of course, Black America is they're not playing that shit. After that, what was that? Was it the syphilis experiment? Was that something in Tuskegee? It was an experiment where they were injecting Black Americans with syphilis years ago. And so, of course, we are Black Americans are hesitant about receiving some bullshit that could be some other disease or a tracking device or so we kind of skeptical and get in our own kind of conspiracy theory what's going to happen. So Vice President Veep Harris, Kamala is going to be the talking point for Black America, trying to convince people that it's okay. And we've had that a lot. We got Tyler Perry who's talked about it. He did a video about him getting both, and so it's out there. The vaccine for COVID is out there. I, for one, I'm open to the vaccine, right? I've been getting vaccines in the United States since I was a baby. So what's not to trust? It's going to come with a sheet of warnings. I'm either going to run a fever or I'm not, or I'm going to feel sick or I'm not, or this anaphylaxis or whatever. We know what the vaccine experience is in the United States. So there's a documentary on the vaccines already, or just on the sitting still. So Danae said, because there's a lot of stillness in some ways, I think it's purpose by the universe. I agree with you, Danae. I think that it's time to be still in a time that we're so used to going. And it's almost unsettling because you feel like you need to be doing something, but then there's nothing to do, right? It's like, I feel like I need to, but then when you start thinking about stuff to do, you're like, yeah, it's not really anything to do. And Clarissa said the same. She's sit still time and steady on her path. And that's exactly where I am. I have literally last year for 2020, and I think we've all had this conversation, is that I had so many trips planned for 2020, like so many flights, that I had a note section in my phone with just flights, right? And then the pandemic, and all of them were canceled, right? All of them all of the flights were canceled. And it's like, I think of all the stuff I used to do, and the running and coming and going and the early flights in and getting to work and this and this and this. I think about all of that. And now it's just like, the only expectation for me now is to rest, get up, go to work, come home, work on my business. There's no expectation that I'm running all over the place. And it's so out of character for me. And I know it's better for me as a person, and it'll make me more available to do God's will. I know that because it's so much more of the noise has left my brain, right? It's like, so when I'm around people and I see goodness in people and I continue to be around them in stillness, my human self takes a seat back and watch the people for who they are. And And I know that there are a lot of people that are searching. There are a lot of people that are still searching for themselves. And there are a lot of people who are still trying to figure it out. And I have to, as I said before, give grace. But it's really weird to me because I've had some conversations at work that I'm just like, should I be having this conversation, or am I saying the right thing in this conversation, or is my response correct in this conversation? Or, and what I found is that I'm retreating more so into my classroom. So I literally deal with the students who come into my classroom, my lunch table, and that's it. Like, my socialization is little. My girlfriend, Jennifer, who works with me, she and I will get together throughout the day. We'll text throughout the day. We'll get together for a few minutes to chat. But for the most part, and I think we recognize that. We recognize that we have to give each other space to operate in the magnitude of things that are changing. And this quiet time has also given me an opportunity to see what God is expecting from me. Like, it's taken away the human expectation and the spiritual, and replaced it with the spiritual expectation. Like, what do you do? And I probably pay more attention to that than the what my administrators want. I hope they don't see this stream, but it's true. It's kind of like, you're a human too, and your desires on me are selfish. So I have to really pay attention to that. Yeah. And Jennifer says some of us have gotten busier, and some of us have gotten busier, but it's busier on your path to being of his greatness and not on somebody else's agenda. This is your agenda to be great, to serve, and to take care of people in the with your gifts, and not on the agenda that others have placed on us. So that's what we have to really pay attention to that. And let's say, before we have about 6 minutes before we go, and Jennifer just signed on it here. Her son was deployed today. So if you guys have an opportunity to just send a quick prayer of safety and covering and just goodness for her son as he goes off to adventure, right? It's an adventure. He's going off to an adventure. And if we just take a few moments and in your prayer tonight and just offer some goodness, her name is Jennifer, offer some goodness to her and her family, and just to keep her son safe. I'm sure that would just send some great energy their way. That would mean an awful lot. All right. So I got a couple things I need to touch on before I go, because y'all know I have. Okay. So let me tell y'all this, because I've been a little fresh tonight. Yes, prayers up. Thank you, Danae. Thank you. Thank you. So let me tell y'all this before I got a couple things. I'm gonna talk fast. I got an alert on my on my MacBook tonight. It said Mac OS Big Sur will be installed tonight. Now I know that means it's an update, but it just meant something different to me, because I'm thinking, like, I just really wish Big Sur would be installed tonight. I know that's fresh, but it's the truth. I think they need to change their language. It's not for the middle-aged woman. Okay, so that's the one thing I wanted to say. I thought that was funny. So there is another thing about this lady who was in QAnon, and she was talking about how devastated she was after the inauguration, because according to the reports of QAnon and the conspiracy theories, that once Biden was sworn in, we would automatically become a communist. We will automatically become a communist nation, and she would have to take her child and run. Like, that was her thought. She literally thought that if President Trump wasn't sworn in for a second term, if he didn't win by a landslide like he said, then Biden was sworn in, that we were going to be communist, and the Republicans would have to get their children out of school and run away and stuff. So I was thinking that's crazy, because pretty much most of us, I mean, we have some people that came from other countries, but I'm not 400 years ago. I'm talking about right now. we were educated in the United States. So we have an opportunity and access to information, resources, research. This is a whole person who's so caught up in the conspiracy theory that I'm trying to figure out, how are they not able to research and figure out that that is a mess? Like, that is crazy. You've got a congressperson out of Georgia, Georgia, who's saying that the 9/11 World Trade Center was staged. They're like some kind of actors. The Sandy Hook massacre was staged. This is somebody who's in a political power position, that this rhetoric is a part of their daily life. And you're like, if you have ever, I drove through Sandy Hook, driving to another location when I was working, traveling for business. And I remember being in Sandy Hook and stopping at a Subway, not a Subway station, a Subway restaurant. And I remember being there thinking, this town, now, this was before I knew I was in Sandy Hook. I was in there thinking, this place feels funny. That's what my thought was. Now, this was before I had all the clarity of my understanding and knowing that the gift of awareness, right? So I was like, this place feels funny. I didn't know what it felt like. I was just like, this is weird. So I go in Subway, I get a sandwich, I eat, I get in my car, I'm driving. I saw a sign with the Sandy Hook Memorial, and I was like, I'm in Sandy Hook. Like, wait a minute. And I had to pull over to gather my bearings because I knew the tragedy that had happened there. So now there's a person who's saying that that was staged. And I'm like, can you imagine being a parent of a child that was killed that day in that massacre and somebody telling you it didn't happen? But not even they're telling you it didn't happen. They're talking to you and you're telling them you lost your child, and they're still telling you it didn't happen. That's the crazy shit to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I have to wonder, like, how many people are stuck in this space of fairy tale, maybe? Or I don't even know. I don't even know where they're stuck, or I don't even know what you call it. But I'm thinking that if you exist in this place of trying to contradict or negate these things have happened, you probably need to get you some psychiatric help. Like, you are out of touch with reality in a crazy ass place, right? Denial, right? You have got to get you some help somewhere, but it's not, oh, has she? Danae says she's been in CNN almost every day. This is the craziest thing. And I'm like, but what's crazier? This person was elected into a position by other people. So they're crazy too. Like, so what, about 48% of the population are crazy? 48% of the population is crazy, right? So I don't understand, because I'm such a resourceful, go figure it out on my own person kind of person, that when I hear these conversations, it's like, to me, it's like arguing with the eighth grader or seventh grader when you tell them something and they're like, oh no, such and such. I give them that pass because they're limited in their knowledge. But a grown up, I'm not giving them. They're in Georgia, so a lot of people voted. I'm not. I'm not going to I can't give the adults a pass on stupidity. They were educated in the United States just like I was. I just have to accept that this is a place that they exist, and to try to limit their engagement with other people. So that, I just thought that was just a weird kind of article, just knowing that there's so many people out there connected with the QAnon that kind of thought process, and what do you do with it? And y'all know I have a rule. I don't argue with people on dumb on shit like that. Well, I don't argue with people anyway, and I'm definitely not engaging in a conversation such as that. Not doing it. My last thing before we get ready to go. Remember I told you guys about the little black guy, 20 years old, the little insurrectionist that got caught up in DC. His name is Emmanuel Jackson. He's 20 years old. He was living in a transition house. I don't have a sob story for his ass, so that's not what this is. I just want to give y'all an update that I looked today. His ass is still in jail. He does not have a bail. And they said, we are trying to make sure that we get these thugs who try to storm the Capitol. That's what they calling his ass. Now, mind you, other people are out on bail. They're home chilling, waiting for but this 20-year-old black man is going to be made poster child for this insurrection. Like, he's still sitting up in there, which may not be bad for him because he was living in I won't say that. That sounds so crazy because jail is bad anyway, but he's still in jail. And I wonder who's going to represent him? Who's going to take care of him? Who's going to get him to a place of understanding that he's greater than? Whose responsibility is that? Or did we lose that now that he's 20? No one is no longer responsible for trying to get him to manhood. Now he's got to do it himself. And that's sad because I deal with this all the time at the school that I teach because I'm in alternative ed. We get the men who are lost. We get the men who people are no longer teaching them to be men. They're just like, good riddance. And I wonder if that's the case with him. So anyway, it's 10 o'clock. It's Joycelyn Wells with Joy Exposed. And subscribe to YouTube channel. And on February 13th, I think I have another show before then. But February 13th, I'll be benched with Jennifer Shiver. She is a bench counselor. And we're going to talk about being lonely and lonesome for Valentine's Day. Lonesome. Or lonely, I think, for Valentine's Day. And that's going to be on the 13th. I'll talk about that more next week. So you guys can tune in and subscribe to YouTube, download the podcast from wherever you can find it. If you have an opportunity to watch the interview or listen to the interview with Walil Archer, it's on my YouTube. It's also on my Facebook. It's a great interview. If you're interested in being in the spotlight, let me know. Send me a instant message or a text message and I can get you on the calendar. We're already scheduling in May. So that is looking forward for sure. And if you're an author, let me know. We'll start up our Thursdays after Super Bowl so I can get the authors interviews going. So we're just growing, right? Just having the conversation take place and letting people get to that place of freedom of understanding that it's okay to talk about these things, whatever you want to talk about, how you want to talk about them. It's okay to talk about them because we have to take our ideas from here, as I said before, to here. We owe that to the universe for choosing us to be here. So it's Joycelyn Wells with Joy Exposed. And remember, when joy is exposed, everything just feels better. Thank you guys so much for joining. Have an amazing night. I'll see you next week. Bye.